Hey y'all.
So, Facebook cut my live short. Anytime when we start digging into, okay, talk too much, got to go. Y'all see how they do me? Y'all see how they be trying to keep people from knowing the deal. But it's okay. They can't get away with the lies. They can only do it for so long, But it's cool. It's cool that they cut the live short, even though I was still talking. Anyway, so yeah, I'm not changing the niche for Shop Origine. Like I can see me expanding the niche to like maybe the Moors and the Israelites, but however, like other people that are melanated and claim to be indigenous, I could see myself opening a niche to them, but only on the stuff that I can agree with. But all the other stuff, no. Like I'm not expanding the niche for the natives. I'm not expanding the niche to make it about the human race. Like, no, I'm not doing that, because I made Shop Origine with one purpose in mind: to put us on a pedestal. It's not fair that people are begging and trying to harass me and trying to get me to expand the niche to like all these other different groups of people, but however they don't sit here and go to other native apparel pages and be like, oh, you need to expand the niche for them or whatever. They don't say that to them. They don't tell them that they need to expand their niche for us. So I go where I'm appreciated. And if I can't go there, I would make my own way. Okay? So it's not cool. And honestly too, it's just like how we deal with racism. Like people be like, oh, well, y'all should respond to racism, or y'all should, like, well, how about talking to the people that's over there burning crosses and waving around their Confederate flags? How about that? But they always want to come to us and tell us how we should respond to to how other people treating us. I don't got time. I don't got time. So I made this store with melanated people in mind, because not a lot of apparel brands out there are creating a brand that represents us, represents our influence, and is acknowledging us here before Columbus. They don't even think of us as being here before Columbus, and if they do, they go right into talking about Africans, knowing good and well that we have a separate identity from them. People can say whatever they want to say. People can say, oh, well, Africans came over here. They have met Africans. However, they didn't make up our population. Like I'm pretty sure Africans had like their population here in the Americas, but it was us. Like we're separate from Africans, and that's why I made this brand, so people can understand that we are our own identity, and we have the right to see ourselves as such, because when you have actually studied and researched history and science as well, when it comes to the Americas, you will see that we have always been here. Did not lie to us. It's funny because people always tell us to listen to our elders, but then they want to ignore the simple fact that our elders told us that they are indigenous too. So no, like I'm not gonna apologize for making this niche just about us. Making this brand just about us, because why not? Like, why should I make it about other people like natives when natives don't include us. You know, like, I just think it's funny how like people always stuck up their nose to us when it comes to us sitting at the table, but when we go and make our own table, then they want to beg us to be over there. Like, no, Now, if you was on that equality stuff, like how you trying to be on now, you know, things could have been different. But since you didn't want to be on that path, then we gotta wave bye-bye, you know, bye-bye. You know, because there's no point in talking about collaborating or be on the same page when you wasn't being like that with us. You know, so I'm all for giving people treatment like how they gave me treatment. You know, if you treat me good, I'll treat you good. If you treat me wrong, I may rise above it. I may treat you wrong back. It just depends on my mood. But you know, like, don't expect to be treated like a king or queen over here when you never bothered to put us on the spotlight or acknowledge our existence. You know, and even though, like, I don't really talk to darker skinned Indians on the reservations, but and even if they don't want to associate with us or don't want to associate with the other originating people who don't have cards or ID cards or whatever, you know, it's still not right for the natives to be calling them the N-words. It's still not right for the natives to be racist towards them because their skin darker or they're part African or whatever. You know, still not right. You know, people always want to say we bring anti-African, but never want to point the finger at people who are being anti-African. Because I don't know. I just think it's funny, you know, because here we are celebrating dark skin, but then you have natives that make fun of dark skin. You know, I even had natives make fun of, you know, my big lips, but then I turn around and I look at their pages and they be like, oh, I'm so proud of my indigenous features, you know, I love my big lips. I'm like, but you was just on my page trying to make fun of mine. Okay. And you know, and then they want to talk about our particular design, native, you know, they be like, oh, that's hateful towards indigenous women. Okay, well, why did you say it to me then? Why do you think it was cool for you to call me a native, but when I turn it into a t-shirt, now you mad because instead of whining and crying on social media about it, I turn it into dollars? Okay, so if you didn't want me to rise, if you didn't want me to conquer, then you shouldn't have gave me the ammo, boo-boo. You shouldn't have gave me the ammo. You should have let me up. Because you already know I'm going to do that anyway. So, yeah, like, I'm not expanding the niche for nobody. You know, like, just like I said, you know, Moors, Israelites, yes, I know. But, you know, like, either way it go, the people who still claiming Moors and Israelites, we already know, like, they just claiming titles that, I don't know how to put it. I mean, the Moors, but we all know that our people did not they call themselves after their tribes, you know. Israelites, I'm not, oh my God. But, you know, I like their warrior skills. I like how they are brave and fearless. So, you know, in all reality, we're all just so divided, but we all want the same thing, and we all recognize each other's traits, and we all understand that we are from here, you know. So those are the main three things that we all understand, no matter if you call yourself a Moor, Israelite, Aborigine, whatever. You know, we all understand that we was here first. The original people came in many different shades and had different hair textures, and that we understand that you know, we are indigenous. So, I mean, there are a lot of common interests with all these different groups, but we don't want to associate with each other because of what we call ourselves, you know. And at some point, like, people just need to grow up. because everybody scream about unity until it's actually time to unify. Then everybody wants to scatter like roaches, and that's just it don't work like that. It don't work like that. It just don't work like that. So yeah, like, I have no problem with other different groups of people. I just don't like when people be testing me and trying me, because I'm like, I know I can turn into the old Bella and just be rude, mean, and just spiteful. But if I have to be like that to get my point across, I'm gonna just block you, because there's no point. Like, you know, like, you're not gonna get me out of character just because you want a reaction. Oh, and that's another thing too. You know, I feel like with people always trying to question Shop Origine and why we don't show other people and we expand our niches, I just feel like they just trying to test to see where my mind is at and where I'm at with it all, and it's gonna be the same. You know, my brand is for us. You know, now if other native brands would have just shown us from the get-go and understood and respected our existence, you know, I wouldn't have to have this conversation. You know, this conversation wouldn't even be needed. But since, you know, people don't understand or acknowledge our existence and don't care to, here I am. You know, so I'm tired of people trying to act like a victim instead of being a victor. You know, because I'm not with that victim mentality, you know. And just I'm going to show y'all my shirt too, because this is a shirt from Shop Origine, okay? It says Powhatan. More like a devil than a man, with some 200 more as black as himself, okay? And this was written by John Smith. Saved by an Indian maiden. Okay, so we have this in our store. Okay, and when we show these quotes, and show the pictures of how, you know, colonizers described our people want to downplay it to myself. Oh, but that's just white people views. I'm like, okay. Well, our elders say the same thing. Oh, they just confused. They just hate themselves. It's like at some point in time, you can't keep running away from the knowledge. Okay, and that's why I'm so set on showing different representations of indigenous people, because it's like, dude, if you can't acknowledge the hard facts, then you just mentally dead. Like, I can't help you. You know, like, I'm coming, well, like in my, sorry, I cannot speak right now. In my last video, before Facebook shut it off, okay, I said that I was creating another landing page for Shop Origine, where I'm gonna compile a 50 list of 50 book sources that talk about, you know, so you know, there are so many sources that talk about us as indigenous people, us as being in the Americas, whether they talk about us migrating here or originally being from here. You know, this is our story, and it's no coincidence that the tribes that were talked about in early voyages, descriptions, and stuff like that were us. You know, looking like this, you know, like with the kinky hair, with straight hair, whatever. You know, it's no coincidence. People are like, oh, well, you know, they just mixed with African. Really? Do you really believe that they just mixed with African? You know, because there's a reason why that the nations that were encountered by the first colonizers look like us. There's a reason why for that. There's a reason why, and we already know why, because we already know that we are the first people of America. We already know that we were here first. you know, and we didn't migrate here. We was already from here. You know, now some people argue, well, you know, we just migrated from Africa and blah, blah, blah. Well, how about you worry about that? How about you are the one that migrated from Africa to here? You claim that, okay? Because there are actually originating people that originated here. You know, so there are some people confused about our origins, but it's okay. You know, and that's why I say, if you're going to claim to be from here, you need to be reading up on your tribe's origin stories. Because the tribes will always tell you where they come from and where they migrated from or where they come from. Okay? Turn up your volume if you can't hear me. I'm not expanding the niche for Shop Origine. Like, people can just get over it. Because no one was not telling the natives to expand their niche to include us. We have always been left out in the dark. No one never acknowledged us when it came down to boil time to it. It is crazy because I just had a dream about Rosa Parks the other day. And I was like, man, you know, she's Indian, you know, like, and I wanted to try to talk to her in my dream, but I never did get a chance to. So I kind of feel like that means something. It does mean something. You know, so, so yeah. So people can take several seats when they try to say that Shop Origine need to expand the niche, because we ain't expanding nothing. Because where were y'all landing? Where was y'all helping hand when we was going through all this racism and we had to deal with people calling us ugly and stuff like that? You know, same people talking about how we should be accepting of the natives. I don't see them telling them to do that for us. You know, so I'm for people who are for us. You know, and I'm not saying all natives think like that, but I'm saying there are so many of them online that are speaking like that, and they have actually tried to attack the brand too, but they ain't do much. I mean, like, what could they do, you know? But you know, people just are in fear of us realizing and recognizing our power. You know, people fear us revolting, you know, and they know that day is coming. They know the day that they know that they can't control us. You know, so they gotta try and control us mentally, you know, by gaslighting us and by lying to us. You know, and I remember when I was in that group, Native American News or something like that, when I first caught myself debating with the natives. You know, it was so many natives and white people in there that was trying to, like, gaslight me and others, calling us liars, calling us all these different stuff. But it's like, you know, it's true. You know, and if you know that we have been affected by racism, you know, who are you to make fun of it? And you call yourself a native? Like, oh my God. You know, so there's so many, like, fake people claiming to be indigenous, but don't even live by the indigenous code, you know. They don't even live by the values of indigenous people. Get rid of devices and start over. Man, like, oh my God, like, I'm going to tell y'all a little story, okay? So when I was debating with them, I noticed that my phone would start acting up, or it would just stop working completely. I was like, this cannot be a coincidence. Like, how is it that my phone always seemed to overheat or just stop working? And I was like, okay. So yeah, so I did have to get rid of the devices because they just stopped working on me, which is cool. Need a new phone anyway. But yeah, y'all, like, That's why I just mind my business and continue to make new apparel for our people. You know, we just released a design today called Origine breastplate T-shirt. You know, and breastplates, you know, they had a significance for when we was in war. You know, it also provided spiritual protection and comfort, you know, for warriors that were going out in the battlefield, you know, for their tribes. You know, so I really try and push our people to reconnect with their roots, you know. And today, we posted a list of words that come from, you know, indigenous tribes, and I sent it to my dad, and all he could say was "wow," you know. And I'm like, yeah, I'm like, this is your culture, like, you know, because so many of our people are so used to calling themselves black or seeing themselves as Negro or African that they neglect that their indigenous roots. And I mean, like, you could be part African, you know, you could be all this other different stuff, but if you know you have indigenous roots, why is it so hard for you to accept that? You know, and I feel it's so weird. I remember, like, not that long ago, I was at, like, a networking business group, not business group, like, business event. It was like a makeup event. It was so much fun, y'all. It was so much fun. And I was talking, I was like, yeah, girl, with my brand shop Origine, you know, it's like an indigenous centered brand, you know, because, you know, I'm Choctaw. She's like, oh, I'm Choctaw too. I'm like, why are you whispering? I'm like, why are you whispering? I'm like, it's okay. Like, you know, people gonna say whatever. People gonna say whatever. People gonna sit here and call you black. People gonna say you African or whatever. But I don't care. Like, you can say, you call me whatever. Like, because at the end of the day, I know who I am. And that's all that matters. You know, I have done the research for my ancestry tree. And that's all that matters. You know, people think that they really hurt your feelings when you voice that you're not indigenous and they set on trying to call you black or whatever. Like, baby, you're not doing anything but getting on my last nerve. Like, I don't care. Like, I don't care if you think that I'm black or whatever. I remember I used to work at this East Indian restaurant like last year, and I had like this melanated man and this Arabian dude pull up, and they was asking me about my race, and I'm like, I'm American Indian. He was like, oh, black American Indian? I'm like, no, just American Indian. And he was like, okay, so where your people from? I'm like, America. And where they come from? America. And where they come from? America. You gonna get the same answer, fool. America. He like, oh, okay, I don't want the food. Bye. Bye. You ain't heard me. I'm gonna get paid regardless. Okay, then the little Arabian dude was like, are you Arabian? He was like, no, dude, she just said that. I'm like, no, I'm not Arabian. I said, see, look, like, all these races that y'all be trying to put me as, I could really scam y'all. If I want, if you keep calling me Arabian, I'm going to pull up Arab and be like, I'm Arabian. Get this snapping my fingers, get them like little clicker things. Like, don't play with me. Do not play with me. Try to give me a rich Arabian man. Don't play with me. Don't play with me. I'll be all up in there. Do not play with me. Do not play with me. Do not play with me. People say that I look East Indian. And sometimes I see it too. I'm like, okay, I can see that. I can see that. But I also do remember like coming across a book reference that said like we do resemble East Indians as well. So I'm like, okay, you know, that makes sense too. You know, but there are so many different like information out there that goes with the questions that people have about our existence. You know, like, and you can educate people all you want, but it's up to them to like want to receive that information or want to learn, you know. So it's not my problem that people want me to expand my niche, because where was that same energy when it came to putting us on the spotlight? You feel me? So, you know, I don't care. You know, I don't care at the end of the day, because this brand is still expanding to this day. This brand is still getting exposure to this day. So it don't really matter to me about the sales. I mean, people can be like, oh, well, your sales could boom so much, but I'm like, I don't care. I don't care, because I had this brand in mind because I knew that representation of originating people is missing, and if I lose sales, if I lose customers because I center the brand around our people, I'm so cool with that. I'm cool as the other side of the pillow with that, because I know that this is benefiting us, and I see how it changes and create thoughts in other people in their mind, like, okay, why they got that t-shirt on that say that? Why they got a black man with Indian wear on? Why they do that? Because I want people to think like that when they see my apparel, and y'all should already get ready for people questioning y'all too about it. Because I had some of my customers be like, man, I'll be getting stares. People be looking at me. I'm like, let them look at you. They probably in awe. They probably wasn't even prepared for you to even realize and recognize your own origins. You feel me? Yeah, it's true. Once you plant the seed, move on. You are indigenous. Exactly. So, there's people gonna be asking you, man, why you wearing that t-shirt, man? What that mean, or whatever, because people are curious, and I'd rather y'all wear something that sparks a thought in someone's head than for us to keep falling to these trends and be doing these dumb challenges. As a matter of fact, there should be a challenge of what we learn about ourselves and our genealogy. I would love to start a challenge like that, like us compiling videos of us talking about our heritage, like how they doing with that little makeup and them girls with them brushes. Like, we could be doing the same, except we talking about our heritage, and once people start to see that we are aware of our origins, they have no choice but to accept that or realize that, and if they don't, then that's their loss. Can't control another person's mind. In Houston, like, there are so many Africans in Houston, y'all. I did not realize it was so many Africans, like, in Texas. I'm just like, oh, wow, because I'm from the country. Like, I just know about my indigenous origins, and that's it. But there are so many, like, Africans in Houston, and some of them are spreading the misinformation about our origins because they come over here trying to side in with us and be like, oh, well, us Africans. I'm like, no, not us Africans, no, nothing. Because where was y'all when we was going through all this stuff? Where was you at? Where was you at when we needed you? Okay? So no, ain't no we. There ain't no we. Now, we may go through racism, prejudice, racial bias, all that other stuff, but there ain't no we over here. Ain't no we. Unless you talking about we the people. There ain't no we over here. Okay? I know we speak French. Some of us speak French, but this ain't it, baby. This ain't it. This ain't it. So, some Africans like to push that transatlantic slave trade stuff too. But I put them on game too. Like, baby, we have already been here, with your influence and without. So I don't know what to tell you. Like, I'm sorry that you fell for the okie doke like we did going through school, but I mean, like, you old enough to educate yourself now. Like, we all don't have the same origins, and that's okay. They like to try and brainwash people into thinking like, oh, well, having your own identity is wrong and you need to identify with people. Like, forget that. Like, you identify, because there are so many different groups of people that are not being accounted for. You know, and I hate to say it too, but there's so many different species of people too that are not being accounted for. You know, like, there's so many people that you think is the same, but they really not. You know, and I'm not gonna go really deeper into like origins and stuff like that. But you know, just because it look brown don't mean it's down. Don't mean that it's down for the cause or whatever. You know, so but I just think it's funny because it's like melanated people, we can be so set on banding together and do stuff, but when it does come time to like band with other groups of people, they don't want to be like, oh nah, but when it comes to us, in our existence, they didn't want to piggyback off that and be like, oh well, you know, y'all African, no, because where was you at when we were struggling? Where was you at when people was doing all this messed up stuff to us? You know, like, you wasn't saving us then, and you damn sure ain't gonna be claiming to be us now. You ain't gonna be, you know, that's nothing too. I have came across Africans that are claiming to be indigenous too. So it's just like, I don't understand why we have to be we the world with people, but when it comes to their stuff, they don't want to be we the world with us. You know, so I keep our niche just us for that purpose. You know, because we have to have our own voice. You know, our voice is always overshadowed by someone else because they wanna be in the same boat as us, and that's not cool. That's not cool. You know, they want us to be about it, but everybody don't want to be about us, and they expect us to be cool with that. And I'm not. I'm not, like, You know, because I think it's funny how we are supposed to claim Africans when continental Africans don't know anything about our existence here in America. They already know that we just been here. You know, and the fact that y'all have to tell Africans that we come from them is fishy as hell. Like, they should already know about people that they have descended from, or people that descended from them have been taken away. You know, and not a lot of them even have stories of their people being taken, like, in mass numbers and being sold or whatever. You know, like, if the stories were true like they said it was, they would have put two and two together, be like, oh, those are my descendants, you know, those are my people, blah, blah, blah. But they don't even see us as that, y'all. They be like, well, I just thought they was indigenous black Americans, you know, or they even separate us. They don't even say African Americans. A lot of them don't say African Americans. They just say black Americans. You know, I just think it's funny how, like, people always want us to claim them, but they don't want to claim us. You know, I used to know this African girl too. Like, me and her used to be real cool. And she used to ask me, do you think you're part African? I'm like, I don't know. But in my documents, it don't say nothing about my ancestors coming from over there. So, I mean, me and her did kind of look alike too. Like, she was like East African. But however, East Africans are heavily mixed. You know, so people always want to sit here and claim that we're a mixture, but they forget that Africans were being mixed just like how other indigenous people around the world were being mixed. So you universal, so roll with the universe. Don't worry about it. Nobody else is doing that. I can see you play seeds already. Yeah. The seeds are already planted. You know, like, people that are wearing Shop Origine shirts already plant the seeds. You know, because everyday people looking at their shirts, forming a thought, and they may not say nothing to them. They may give them a face, but they know. But now they know, you know. And maybe if they really want to manifest the answers, they will manifest it. You know, if they really want to know the answers, they will manifest it. They will come across, you know, information. They'll be like, oh, I saw something like that the other day, and now it's on my computer screen. Now I'm seeing it on my timeline, and blah blah blah. You know, so people gonna find them answers. They just gotta be willing to accept it. So But yeah, our niche is for us and made by us, and that's it. So, um, I made it this niche so people can understand our value when it comes to being indigenous in an indigenous community. Because still not a lot of people are aware of our existence, which is okay, because I don't expect them to be knowledgeable in that field just yet. But, I do it in this way so people understand and realize what's going on around them, and that we are now aware of who we are. And I'm cool with that. I'm cool with that, because our people do need to understand and realize who they are, who they come from, and research their genealogy. I may even make a t-shirt, research your genealogy. Because everybody want to ignore genealogy, but want to say DNA test. Like, I don't know, just, I can't. But yeah, that's all I want to talk about, y'all, because I didn't want to be on this live all day. So, and I will also upload this live to our YouTube channel as well. I'm going to try and grow and expand that more. So yeah, y'all, thank y'all guys for tuning in. Until the next time, bye.